मेरा जीवन sei mora jivanera jivan sei mora rasanidhi sei mora vancha siddhi sei mora vedera dharam sei mora vedera dharam sei brata sei tapa sei mora mantra japa sei mora dharma karam sei mora dharma karam anukula habe vidhi sei pade hoibe siddhi nirakhibohe dui nayan nirakhiboe dui nayan sei rupa madhuri rashi প্রাণাকুবলয়া শশী প্রবুলিত হবে নিশি দিনে প্রবুলিত হবে নিশি দিনে তুয়া দর্শন হি গরেলে জারুল ধই চিরদিনা তাপিত জীবন চিরদিনা তাপিত জীবন আহা রূপা করো দয়া দেহ মরে পদ ছায়া নরোত্তম এলো শরণ নরোত্তম এলো শরণ সেই রূপা মঞ্জরি পদা সেই মোরা সম্পদা সেই মোরা ভজন পূজন সেই মোরা ভজন পূজন. So this is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's, it's the favorite song. He wanted this to be recited at the time of his death. The lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari are my treasure, my devotional service and my object of worship. They give my life meaning and they are the life of my life. They are the perfection of rasa and they are perfection worthy of attainment. They are the very law of the Vedic scriptures for me. They are the meaning of all my fasts and penances and my silent uttering of mantras. They are the basis of religion and activities. By the purifying process of favorable devotional service, one will attain perfection, and with these two eyes will be able to see. His transcendental form is shining like moonlight in my heart, and my heart therefore shines and reciprocates. In other words, the ordinary moonlight lights up the night and its shine illuminates other objects, but the moon of the effulgence of the form of Sri Rupa Manjari shines into the heart and makes the heart also shine back to the spiritual sky. This moon shines not only in the night time but day and night. Your absence from my vision is like a dose of strong poison, and I will suffer till the end of my life. Narottam Das Thakur says, please give me your mercy and the shade of your lotus feet. So this Narottam Das Thakur is saying, I desire to serve Rupa Manjari and attain her lotus feet, and her worship, her devotional service, they are my treasure and the meaning of my life. And she is like the effulgent moon that shines day and night. So basically our mood in Krishna consciousness is we want to be Das, Das, Anudas. So more than serving Radha and Krishna directly, we want to serve the servants of Radha and Krishna. And Krishna also says, those who worship me are not my devotees, but those who worship my devotees are my real devotees. Aradhya Bhagavan Vajesh. No, Aradhana Nam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param Tasmat Paratram Devi Tadiya Nam Samarchinam. The worship of Vishnu is the highest, but better than worship of Vishnu is the worship of his devotees. So that is the, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Gopi Bharatur Pada Kamalur Dasa Dasa Nudas. So we'll get the mercy of Krishna, Radha and Krishna very fast if we serve their pure devotees, and their devotees are pleased, they'll give us the mercy and we'll be able to, attain the service of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world. Anything you'd like to add, Prabhu?
No, you said it. So
Okay.
serving the servants, yeah, that's mood in the spiritual world.
Yeah. So, I would like to recite one pastime of Narad Muni's first darshan of Radharani. Once, while traveling the universe and playing on his veena, Narad Muni reached Golok to take darshan of Lord Sri Krishna. He found that every pastime looked very pale. He sat down to meditate and thus understood that the Lord, along with his associates, had descended to the material world. Narad Muni decided to see the Lord in the material world, and so he traveled to Bhauma Vrindavan. First, he came to the house of Nanda Maharaj. There, he saw the Lord in his baby form, sleeping on the soft bed in a nicely designed cot made of gold. All the cowherd ladies were watching him and deriving pleasure from the wonderful vision of Krishna. The Lord was pleasing everyone by glancing at them from the corners of his eyes. His blue black curled hair, scattered all over his face, was making him very beautiful. Narad Muni was very happy to see his worshipable Lord in this naked baby form and told Nanda Maharaj, "No one knows the unlimited qualities of your son. Even great demigods like Shiva, Brahma, and Indra desire eternal attachment to him. The character of this boy will be the cause of happiness for everyone. Devotees will love to hear and chant of his activities. You should give up every hope for this world and the higher planets and simply develop love for this boy." Narad Muni then left Nanda Maharaj's house. He thought, now Lord Sri Hari has appeared to display his pastimes in this material world. Thus, his eternal consort must have appeared as a gopi somewhere here in Vraj to help my Lord in his pastimes. There is no doubt about this. Today I must go to the house of every Vrajvasi to find her. Thinking like this, Narad Muni visited every house in Vraj. He was received very nicely and worshipped by the Vrajvasis everywhere he went. Finally, Narad Muni reached the house of King Vrishabhanu. Narad Muni told him, "You are very famous all over the world for your religious nature. I can see you are very rich with so much opulence. Please let me know if you have any son or daughter. I would like to see them." Hearing this, Vrishabhanu Deva brought his most effulgent son Sri Dam to show to Narad Muni and to offer obeisances to Munivar. By seeing the most beautiful form of the boy, Narad Muni was very happy. Out of great affection, he embraced the boy again and again and told Vrishabhanu, "Your son will be a dear friend of Krishna and Balram. He will play with them day and night. He is very fortunate. Please take care of him nicely." Narad Muni was preparing to leave when Vrishabhanu Maharaj said, "This boy has a younger sister who, although as beautiful as the denizens of heaven, is blind, deaf, and dumb. I request that you please be kind enough to make her normal by giving your holy darshan. Please come inside and bless the girl." Narad Muni became very curious and entered the room. There he saw the beautiful daughter of King Vrishabhanu playing on the ground. Immediately Narad Muni picked up the girl and put her in his lap. He felt very jubilant to see this girl, the same jubilation he had felt when seeing Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. He was feeling so much ecstasy that he momentarily lost his senses and became stunned and still like a stone. When he came back to his external senses, he opened his eyes and was so surprised that he could not utter any words. Narad thought, "I have travelled everywhere, including Brahmalok, Rudralok, and Indralok, but I have never seen so beautiful a girl as this. I have seen the daughter of Himalaya, Devi Parvati. Her beauty pleases everyone in this material world, but her beauty cannot touch this girl. The beauty of Lakshmi and Saraswati would not equal even the shadow of this girl. I have seen the Mohini form of Lord Vishnu, which bewildered Lord Shiva, but her beauty is not equal to the beauty of this girl. I do not have the power to understand the truth of this girl. She is a dear consort of Sri Hari. No one can understand her. Just by having darshan of this girl, I am feeling so much love for Govinda. I have never felt such intense love for the Lord before. I must glorify her by offering prayers and obeisances to her in a solitary place." Narad Muni then offered his prayers as follows. O Devi, you are Mahayoga Swarupini. You are the chief consort of Golok Bihari Sri Hari. You are always immersed in the most wonderful bliss of mellows. I have received your darshan due to my great fortune. You are always engaged in meditating on your Pran Vallabh Shyama Sundar and thus deriving eternal bliss. Your most beautiful and sweet face expresses the joy from experiencing your own bliss, and you are internally blissful and ever satisfied. You have given birth to Mahavishnu. You are the cause of cosmic manifestation, its maintenance and annihilation. You are Vishuddha Sattva, Swarup and Parashakti. You are Brahma Gayatri and the mother of Shruti. Even great demigods like Brahma and Rudra do not know the tattva of your being. Yogendra and Munindra cannot understand you by meditation. Govinda's Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, and Kriya Shakti are your parts only. You are Ahladani Shakti, Ananda Rupini, and Ishwari. There is no doubt about this. Sri Krishna is having eternal pastimes with you in the forest called Vrindavan. In your baby form, you have bewildered the whole universe with your beauty. By that form, Nandanandan Sri Krishna also becomes bewildered and faints. I am surrendered onto your lotus feet and I am offering my humble obeisances to you. If you feel I am qualified, then kindly manifest your Kishori form to me. Narad Muni offered his obeisances to Radharani and started to glorify the beauty of Sri Krishna. When Srimati Radharani hears the glories of the form and qualities of her most dear Shyamasundar, then she manifests in her most complete form. Moreover, to hear from a great devotee like Narad Muni was more pleasing to her. When Narad Muni started to glorify the beauty of Sri Krishna, then Srimati Radharani accepted her most attractive and beautiful Kishori form of 14 years old girl. At that time also, all her Radharani, they were dressed nicely and decorated with many ornaments. By seeing this, Narad could not continue to offer his prayers any longer. He was in so much ecstasy that he became stunned and no words came from his mouth. The Sakhis then brought water and washed the lotus feet of Radharani and sprinkled that water upon Narad Muni to bring him back to his external senses. These girls, being merciful upon Narad Muni, told him, O great Muni, you must have served Lord Sri Hari, who is eager to fulfill the desires of his devotees with great transcendental devotion. That is why today you have been able to see the most wonderful eternal Kishori form of Sri Hari Vallabh Radharani. Even Brahma, Rudra, great rishis, Siddhas, Munis, and other Bhagavatas have not seen this form of Sri Radhika. What to speak of seeing her? They do not know about her. Today she has given you darshan in the Kishori form. You are very fortunate. O Brahmana, be patient and get up. Circumambulate Srimati Radharani and offer your obeisances to her again and again. This most attractive form of Radharani is flickering like lightning. Her Kishori form will disappear now. The Sakhis continued. There is one Ashoka tree on the bank of Kusum Sarovar at the foot of Govardhan. That Ashoka tree produces flowers always. The sweet smell of these flowers spread all over the forest and makes the whole area very fragrant. You will again attain our darshan under that Ashoka tree at midnight. Later, when the proper time comes, you will see Radharani along with her Sakhis. Saying this, the gopis disappeared from there, and again Srimati Radharani assumed her baby form. Maharaj Vishwanu returned to the room. He saw Narad Muni offering obeisances to the child and asked him, O Muni, why are you offering prayers to my baby daughter? Narad Muni assured Maharaj Vishwanu that all was well. Then he left the palace. So we see Radharani manifested her Kishori form of 14 years old when she heard Narad Muni glorifying Krishna, because Radharani likes to hear glories of Krishna. So when we chant Hare Krishna, when we say Krishna, Radharani is attracted. And when we say Hare, then Krishna is attracted.
Okay. So then she only opened her eyes, right, when Krishna came later on.
Yeah. I'll recite that past hymn tomorrow.
Okay. first thing she wanted to see was Krishna, so she was not opening her eyes. Blind, deaf, and dumb.
Yeah. I think Prabhupada said that Krishna is so beautiful that when you see him, you will fall unconscious. But Radharani is so beautiful that if you see her, then you will die.
Hmm.
Radharani is millions of times more beautiful than Krishna because she's feeling so much bliss in her service to Krishna. Also is, has millions of times she's enjoying more than Krishna, her happiness. That's why Krishna has come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to understand what is her happiness, what is the glory of Radharani's love for Krishna.
Right. Yeah, even Krishna is attracted to the beauty of Radharani. Madan Mohan Mohini. Of course, it is Krishna's beauty only, Ladini Shakti, manifesting as Radharani. But Krishna has made Radharani so beautiful that Krishna himself is attracted to Srimati Radharani. So,
Shri Krishna Akarshini. Radharani attracts Krishna, but in Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada writes, pure devotional service is also Shri Krishna Akarshini.
hmm.
Attracts
because
Krishna. And
because
we
pure
serve Krishna unconditionally.
because pure devotional service is actually given by Radharani. So it is manifestation of Radharani's mercy, and then that's why Krishna also becomes attracted. Could say like that.
Yeah, any taste we feel in bhakti, any happiness we feel in bhakti is all coming from Radharani. She's a pleasure potency, so any pleasure we feel in our services.
Like they say, Jiva is part and parcel of Krishna, and whatever love Jiva has for Krishna is part and parcel of Radharani's love for Krishna. So, okay. Prabhupada writes that to get the mercy of devotee is more valuable than getting the mercy of the Lord. So we have to get the mercy of Srimati Radharani. And of course, Rupa Manjari and all these different associates of Srimati Radharani. Going down, the Goswamis are basically Rupa Manjari is Rupa Goswami. And then to get mercy of Rupa Goswami and all, then we have to come to the acharyas, like the coming in disciplic succession.
That's why we're known as Rupa Nugas. I think all the Manjaris are under the supervision of Rupa Manjari. Is a leader.
That's why this prayer is there. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam
Dadati Swapadantika.
Dadati Swapadantikam. When will Rupa Goswami, who has in his Manobhishtam, his desire is to establish the movement of Lord Chaitanya, will give me shelter at his lotus feet. So, and I think what is the exact translation? Let's see.
It says, when will Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how we start.
And Rupa Goswami understood the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? I mean, there are two pastimes where one time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in front of the Rath Yatra cart and was reciting a song, singing a song, like a movie song kind of. But Rupa Goswami understood the inner meaning of I'm the same Radharani and you're the same Krishna, but this is not Vrindavan. So like when they meet in Kurukshetra, and also he wrote it in the palm leaf. Chaitanya Tunde Tandavni, that verse, right? explaining the glories of the holy name. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased, and the reason Prabhupada says that Rupa Goswami understood the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is because he's very humble and he's always chanting the holy name. This humility.
Yeah. Unless one is very meek and humble, it is very difficult to make advancement on the spiritual path. That's why that Trinadapi Sunichira verse is there, which Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says you should wear it around your neck with the string of the holy name. Okay. Alright, so anything else? Like in Bible also, the humble and meek will inherit the kingdom of God.
Yeah. There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which says, Deenera adhik daya kare Bhagavan Pandita Dhanira Kulina Bada Abhiman. Those who think themselves as learned, Pandita, and those who are wealthy, Dhanira, and those who think that they belong to a great kul, they don't get the mercy of Krishna. But Deenera adhik, those who are humble, they get mercy of Krishna. Humble and meek.
And humility means that you serve Krishna, basically, that you don't want to put yourself in the center. You want to put Krishna in the center. And that means you have to be free from desires of sense gratification. Then only you can be humble. Gross and subtle desires for sense gratification. Then only you can be humble. Because otherwise, then you want to put yourself in the center. You want to enjoy. So you want to get recognition, name, fame, prestige. So then, as Vrindavan Prabhu was saying, you want to become famous. You don't want to make Krishna famous. You want to become famous. So that's envy, the Supreme Lord, that brought us to this material world. So humility means I'm servant of Krishna. Of course, Krishna makes his devotees famous, but that's humility and freedom from sense gratificatory desires. They go hand in hand. Okay. Anything else? Okay, we'll read. Share my screen. So, understanding material nature. Then we'll read Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Mad bhakta pratibuddhartho mad prasadena bhuyasa nihashreyasham swasansthanam kevalyakyam madashrayam prapnoti hanjasa dhira swadrisha chinna sanshaya yat katvana nivarteta yogi lingad vinirkame. My devotee actually becomes self-realized by my unlimited causeless mercy. And thus, when freed from all doubts, he steadily progresses towards his destined abode, which is directly under the protection of my spiritual energy of unadulterated bliss. That is the ultimate perfectional goal of the living entity. After giving up the present material body, the mystic devotee goes to that transcendental abode and never comes back. So, by Krishna's mercy, we actually become self realized. and then all doubts are removed from the heart, and we go to the spiritual world, which is directly under the control of Krishna. This material world is also under the control of Krishna, Maya Dakshina Prakriti, but he has delegated it to Durga Devi. Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Sakti Rekha Chhaye Vayasya Bhuvanani Bibarti Durga Ichhanurupam Piyasya Cheshtate Sa Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. But the verse we read in Brahma Samhita today, Juhi read. So that is Durga Devi is in charge. And in the spiritual world, Krishna is, of course, Durga Devi is also Ichhanurupam. She is acting under Krishna's direction. So, like the prison is also under the control of government, but the jailer is in charge of the prison. So, like that. So then we go back to the spiritual world when we become self-realized, and then we never come back to this material world. And who would want to come back to this cycle of birth and death and all the life of struggle, disease, old age, death? Nobody would want to come back. Prabhupada also said, I didn't want to go to the material world, but Krishna told me, you go. Vritrasur also told Indra, Indra, use your Vajra, I'll go back home back to Godhead. I'll die, I'll go back home back to Godhead, because I'm Krishna conscious. And you will rot here in this material world. So we are rotting here in this material world. All the jivas are rotting here in this material world, in the cycle of birth and death, being burnt by the miseries of material existence. And Krishna is inviting us to a world that is free from all miseries and full independence. But we are rotting here and we are saying, no, no. This is the power of our Avaranatmika Shakti, the covering potency of the Lord, that we have forgotten our actual home and we are suffering in this material existence. And Krishna is inviting, surrender to me and you will go beyond this Maya. Actual self-realization means becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. Self-realization, you realize yourself, but you can't know the part until you know the whole also. Because part's identity is not independent of the whole. Like in some technology, you have compound objects. Compound objects means their identity depends on something else. It is not independently. You cannot say one thing without the other. So you have to have like the other thing with the first thing. Then only the identity of the first thing is truly known. So similarly, Jiva's identity cannot be known without knowing the Supreme Lord. So that's why Prabhupada says, just knowing that you are the spirit soul is not complete realization. Then going beyond that the soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. That's perfect. Actual self-realization means becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. So when you realize that you are part of the whole, then the duty of the part is to serve the whole. So then you become pure devotee. The existence of a devotee implies the function of devotion and the object of devotion. Self-realization ultimately means to understand the personality of Godhead and the living entities. To know the individual self and the reciprocal exchanges of loving service between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living entity is real self-realization. So there is a loving relationship with the Lord, and to know about that reciprocal exchange, how God loves me and what I am, how I serve Him, how God also reciprocates with His devotees. This is real self-realization. Means to know who we are in the spiritual world, what is my service to the Lord, and how all these different things. Then you know actually your situation, which we call as Swarup Siddhi, to know your Swarup, who you are in the spiritual world. This cannot be attained by the impersonalists or the other transcendentalists. They cannot understand the science of devotional service. So every jiva has an identity in the spiritual world, and to know that cannot be known by impersonalists or other transcendentalists, because only through bhakti you can know that, and they don't adopt the process of bhakti. That's why they can't know. Devotional service is revealed to the pure devotee by the unlimited causeless mercy of the Lord. Krishna reveals everything in the heart, and he sends his pure devotees. That is also the unlimited mercy of the Lord. Like Prabhupada comes. So mercy, Krishna told Prabhupada to go, and that's the mercy of Krishna. So by the mercy of Krishna you get the association of a pure devotee. And by associating with pure devotee you get Krishna. So this is especially spoken of here by the Lord, Mat Prasadena, by my special grace. Here it says, Mat Prasadena Bhuyasa. Okay. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. By my grace, Machita Sarva Durgani, Machita Sarva Durgani.
Prasada Tarishyati Yathat Tvam Ahankarana Shursasi Minakshasi.
Mat Prasade Tarishyasi. And also, yes, my prasad means mercy. Of course, prasad we mean things. Also, the prasad we eat, that is also mercy of Krishna. That's why we say honoring prasadam by my special grace. So, when the Lord's special grace is there, then we become devotee. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. And more grace means you become pure devotee. Like that. Only those who engage in devotional service with love and faith receive the necessary intelligence from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Tesham Sattva Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yukam Tam Yena Mam Upiyanti Te. So, those who engage in devotional service with love and faith, Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Priti means affection with love. Receive the necessary intelligence from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, if you don't have that much love, whatever love we have, that much love, we can chant Hare Krishna. So that gradually and progressively they can advance to the abode of the personality of Godhead. And Krishna will give intelligence from within. Oh, you should do like this, you should, this is how you can come to me. He will tell everything in the heart. Nihashreyasa means the ultimate destination. Swasansthan indicates that the impersonalists have no particular place to stay. The impersonalists, like we have Niha Shreyasha, Vishaya Khalu Sarvatasya. Shreya is there. Shreya means the ultimate good, ultimate destination. Tasmat Guru Prapadyate Jigyashu Shreyottamam Shabde Parecha Nishnatam Brahmani Upashama Ashrayam. If you want to know your ultimate good, then you should approach a Guru. Tasmat Guru Prapadyate Jigyashu Shreyottamam. And who is a guru is also described. Right? Samit Pani Shrutyam Brahmanishtam Tat Vijnanartham Saguru Meva Bhikachet. Is that the verse? Samit Pani Shrutyam Brahmanishtam.
What is that word that has Nisharasya Vishyakulu Sarvatasyat?
Labdva Sudurlabham Midam. So if you want your ultimate good, the impersonalists sacrifice their individuality so that the living spark can merge into the impersonal effulgence, emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord. But the devotee has a specific abode. And Krishna does not like merging into the effulgence because it's like he cannot reciprocate. He is missing your love. Krishna created all of us so that we can exchange in love with him. And he doesn't like it, doesn't appreciate the impersonal merging into the Brahma Jyoti, where there is no bhakti to the Lord. So, so he does not help the impersonalists very much. That's why he says, Klesha adhikatarastesham avyakta asakta chetasam avyakta hikatir dukkham dehavat bhiravapyate. 12th chapter he says like that. That oh, it's this path of impersonalism is filled with difficulties. Because Krishna doesn't give his mercy in particular. Of course, he fulfills everybody's desire, but he doesn't like that because he wants to. As compared to that, then Krishna says, for the devotee, I am the swift deliverer. Those bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam mrityu sansara sagara. So, to show them special mercy, he says in that 12th chapter, I deliver them from the cycle of the swift deliverer. So he brings them back to his abode. The planets rest in the sunshine, but the sunshine itself has no particular resting place. When one reaches a particular, of course, you may say sunshine is resting on the sun, but it's like when it's in space, there is no resting place. When one reaches a particular planet, then he has a resting place. The spiritual sky, which is known as Kaivalya, is simply blissful light on all sides. Kaivalyam narakayate, tridasha akashapur pushpayate.
Shapur Akash Durdantendri Kal se Bhagavati.
So Kaivalya means the merging into the. Of course, Keval means only also, but Kaivalya means merging into the. So is under the protection. The spiritual sky, which is known as Kaivalya, is simply blissful light on all sides, and it is under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmano hi pratishta aham. The impersonal Brahman effulgence rests on the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, the bodily effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Kaivalya or impersonal Brahman. So to merging into that Brahma Jyoti is considered like Narak. Kaivalyam Narakayate for the devotee because he has no opportunity to render service and exchange in love with Krishna. So and the Jiva does not become satisfied also because he is not in its constitutional position of service to Krishna. So then he falls down. Aruya krichena param padam tataha patanti adho anadrita yusmadangrahaya. In that impersonal effulgence, there are spiritual planets which are known as Vaikunthas, chief of which is Krishna Lok. So everything is in the Brahma Jyoti. There are innumerable planets in the Brahma Jyoti and the Vaikuntha planets, and the topmost is Krishna Lok. Some devotees are elevated to Vaikuntha planets and some are elevated to the planet Krishna Lok. According to the desire of particular devotee, he is offered a particular abode, which is known as Swa-Sansthan. Sthan means position. His desired Swa means his own desired destination. By the grace of the Lord, the self-realized devotee, engaged in devotional service, understands his destination, even while in the material body. He therefore performs his devotional activities steadily, without doubting, and after quitting his material body, he at once reaches the destination for which he has prepared himself. So to become free from doubts is then only you can steadily do devotional service. When there are doubts, then it is unsteady. So sometimes we believe, sometimes we don't believe. Sometimes our mind says, "Oh, hey, what are you doing? This is, there are so many things to do in this world, so much, so many other things, sense gratification, so many other things to put your faith in. Why you are so like that? The yeah, for the doubting soul, there is no happiness in this world. Yeah, you want to read that? Yeah.
Hmm. But ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next.
Prabhupada sometimes says doubt is a sign of intelligence. But to always keep doubting, then you will never accept anything, right? I mean, faith is required. Yesterday we are seeing that lecture, Wonders of Faith by Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj yesterday. He was saying that in this world, you can't live without faith. Everybody has faith in something. You have faith in, like we are discussing, every act of ours is based on faith. So how do we get faith in Krishna? That's the thing. So we get faith from the devotees and from our past life. Past life we may have done something. So that faith, we are born with that faith. Or even if we are, but that is not something we can control because we are already born with it now. Right? Whatever we have done in past life, we have done. But what we can control is who we associate with. So if we associate with faithless people, then our faith will go down. We associate with those who have faith and who are conducting their life, not just speaking, but they are conducting their life, keeping faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That by associating with those people, then our faith will enhance, increase. And that's how we get faith. Like bhakti comes from bhakta. So those who have faith can only give faith. I cannot give you $1 million if I don't have $1 million. So I cannot give you money if I don't have money. So faith comes from associating with those who have faith. And there are different levels of faith. There is Kanishta faith, there is Madhyam faith, there is Uttama faith. So Kanishta faith means it is very unsteady, or you could say it can be like that faith can be broken easily. And Uttama faith is like which is steady, unshakable faith in the Supreme Lord. So it builds up. Faith builds up also by experience. As we see how the Lord reciprocates or how Lord takes care of us, then our faith builds up. Like in this world, faith is built by experience. So in spiritual life also we get spiritual experiences, and maybe some reciprocation from Krishna, and more reciprocation, then more faith develops like that. Somebody may say it is blind faith, right? It's blind faith. But no, faith based on knowledge. It is faith based on knowledge. It is not blind faith. Knowledge of the scriptures and knowledge coming from Guru Sadhu Shastra. Of course, you may doubt even the Shastra. Whether that's the thing. The knowledge itself, the knowledge of Shastra also one can doubt. Whether all this written, what Krishna is saying, who knows? People say like that. But we can enhance our faith by following it and then seeing how it is true. Okay, so he therefore performs his devotional activities steadily without doubting, and after quitting this material body, he at once reaches the destination for which he has prepared himself. And sometimes we don't have faith. Yesterday we were talking how we have to gamble. Even if you have no faith or faith, you just gamble your life for Krishna. as Bhakti Charu Maharaj was told. You just gamble one life. You just give one life to Krishna and see what happens. And so many Prabhupada disciples, they gambled their life. How? Well, they sacrifice their youth. And you sacrifice your youth means you don't know what will, that's the time you build up your career and so many things. And they sacrificed and joined a movement which they didn't know how long it was going to last after Prabhupada's departure and what's. But they did. It was gamble. Of course, they got faith from Prabhupada and they joined. So, I was talking about Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj, how he was thinking, I have these savings, Why am I keeping these savings? He was working before he joined. He just took his savings one day and he put all the savings in the hundi. So it requires a great leap of faith to do that, right? To give all your life savings and put it in the hundi. Prabhupada also a leap of faith, right? He doesn't know what's going to come in the America, what's going to, how life is going to happen, what is going to come about. But he embarked on that journey, 30-day journey. So, Prabhupada said like that, you can gamble your life for Krishna, even if you don't have faith. So devotees are gamblers in that sense. Because they don't know what will happen, but they give their life to Krishna. So many devotees also like that, so many risks they take. Brahmananda, Prabhupada told him, you go to Pakistan. And Brahmananda went to Pakistan. So, very courageous. He therefore performs his devotional activities steadily, without doubting, and after quitting his material body, he at once reaches the destination for which he has prepared himself. After reaching that abode, he never comes back to this material world. Okay, the words lingad vinirgame, which are used here, mean after being freed from the two kinds of material bodies, subtle and gross. The subtle body is made of mind, intelligence, false ego, and contaminated consciousness, and the gross body is made of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, and ether. I was also thinking of Sanatan Goswami, how he was studying Bhagavatam at home with a great risk that Nawab would come and catch him. And he did, and he put him in prison also. So then he planned his escape from the prison. Prahlad also, right? He was preaching in the school. After being tortured in so many different ways, he went to the school and he started preaching in the school with a great risk, knowing that his father would again get upset and again torture him. So, and so when one is transferred to the spiritual world, he gives up both the subtle and gross bodies of this material world. So we give behind our matter, body made of matter. Mind is also matter, and the gross body is also matter. Before we go to the spiritual world, he enters the spiritual sky in his pure spiritual body and is stationed in one of the spiritual planets. Although the impersonalists also reach that spiritual sky after giving up the subtle and gross material bodies, they are not placed in the spiritual planets as they desire. They are allowed to merge in spiritual effulgence emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord. The word swasansthanam is also very significant because they want that, so Krishna is giving them what they want. They want to merge into Brahman. Whatever you desire, Krishna is like a desire tree, and he can give you what you want. So we can only desire, and we should desire the right thing by reading the scriptures, by hearing from the devotees. We should desire the right thing and pray to Krishna that you fulfill the right desires I have. So we are dependent on Krishna to fulfill our desires. The jiva can only desire. And then Krishna arranges the material energy, and He gives us a body and everything. We say sometimes that not, yeah, it's true that all the bodies are given to us by material nature under the direction of Krishna to fulfill our desires. Maya gives us yantra rudani maya. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshva arjuna tishtati. Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudani maya. So Maya gives us all these yantras, machines, by which we can fulfill our desires. So Shrotram Chakshum Sparshnam Cha Rasanam Granam Eva Cha Adhishtha Manaschayam Vishayanupasyote. So our gross body is built around our subtle body, our desires. As a living entity prepares himself, so he attains his abode. So this life is preparation for going. Yes, here also it says, BG 9.3 also I wanted to say, Krishna says in 9.3 also, Ashradhathana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Yat Katva Na Nivartante Mrityu Sansara Vartmani Na Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Sansara Vartmani. 9.3 says that those who are not faithful on this path of devotional service. Faith means you have doubts or you are not properly following Ashradhadhana Purusha. Dharmasyasya Parantapa. Aprapya Mam Nivartante. They don't attain me, but they come Mrityu Sansara Vartmani. They come on the path of repeated birth and death. So we have to prepare our consciousness to go back to the spiritual world. That is what this human life is meant for. We have to prepare our consciousness. Means we have to mold our consciousness to go back to the spiritual world.
Also, we have this Yah Shastra Vidhi Mutsarja Vartate Kamakarta Nasa Siddhima Vapnati Na Sukham Na Paramgati. Those who don't have faith in the Shastra, one who discards Shastra, they attain neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination.
Nice, yes. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Pravastito Gyatva Shastra Vidanoktam Karama Kartumi Harasi or Karyam Kartumi Harasi. That's why we should act based on the Shastra, where Krishna says, Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, surrender to me, give up all other dharmas and surrender to me, become my devotee, so many things. The impersonal Brahman effulgence is offered to impersonalists, but those who want to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His transcendental form as Narayan, in the Vaikunthas or with Krishna in Krishna Lok, go to those abodes from where they never return. So because we have a desire to live as souls, we have a desire to live eternally. But in this material world, it's not possible. You may live for a long time, and here it's 100 years in Kali Yuga. That also after some time you say, well, I die because I don't want to live with this diseased, painful, old body. Better I die. I'm just done with this body. That stage also comes. So we have some years of our life where we are somewhat healthy. And those years of the life are not spent in self-realization, but in sense gratification. If we are not directed properly, then those years of life are spent in establishing a nice material situation in this material world. And we forget God in that pursuit, and then we become old. And then it's time to leave. So a devotee can see all these things. What is coming up? Those who are intelligent, they can see what's coming up in life, and they prepare themselves accordingly for that. Those who are intelligent, they prepare for their future, right? The child is made, the parents are intelligent, the child is not intelligent. The parents think about, child's future. So they enroll him in a school and they make him study and do the homework and like that, because they are seeing the future. But those parents generally only see the future in this life. They don't see beyond this life, because nobody is in the consciousness that I'm spirit soul. Everybody is in the bodily conception of life. In this material world, everybody is in bodily conception of life. So they only think about the welfare of the body, and so that's why it's short. Even though they think about the future, it is short-term future, not the long-term future. So, so Prabhupada is telling us to think about our long-term future, Shreya, not the short-term future. So, so we have to prepare now, and especially as we become older, then death is coming closer. So we have to be very serious about our preparation, and at some point drop everything and just prepare for the departure. So, because in this world, this is ever-changing world. I was thinking today. Now they are discussing that, in Russia there was a attempt to take over by some military something. So they are discussing this now. But 100 years back there was First World War, right? In 1914, there was first. They were discussing at that time First World War, what was going on. But now nobody talks about what was First World War, what was going on at that time. Right? Now it's 100 years later. Now they're talking about some other event. So this world, there'll be always events going on. Something or other will be going on. Some person, some country will be invading, and we are engrossed in this. And we think, yeah, we are absorbed. But this is a temporary world, and we are absorbed in these things. It has nothing to do with the soul and or eternal situation. And the whole material world will also go when Mahavishnu will breathe in. So all these things, all these temporary things, which have no consequence at that point, when Mahavishnu will breathe in, then everything will finish. We are thinking this is so important event. What will happen? This, that, but it is all nothing. This is all ever-changing world. Nothing important in that. So, so like that, we should not consider any event in our life as very significant, or any events in this material world as very significant, because those events will come and go. So many events will come and go. So like we had, our graduation ceremony in our past life also. We became Sometimes people think, oh, this is a very important day for me. I'm graduating, and this is my graduation ceremony. But last life also you graduated, or in previous life or some life. So many lives you graduated. You did all these things. And it's not a significant event if you think about it. A birthday is very significant. Last life also you had a birthday. Another day was your birthday, and the life before there was another day was your birthday. So like that, all these events are not at all significant. That's why people in the olden times, they did not give so much importance to these events. Now in modern day, they give so much importance. Oh, it's my 50th wedding anniversary. We are celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary. But what is 50th in the terms of eternity? It is just like a blip. It's just like a bubble, goes, bursts. But we are so much illusioned by this bodily conception of life, and so we give so much importance to these events in our life. But it has nothing to do.
Actually, the most significant event is when we came across Srila Prabhupada's books, right? You say that somebody giving you book can be the most significant event that has happened after many, many lifetimes.
Yeah, the day we started chanting Hare Krishna, the day we got transcendental knowledge, these are the greatest.
Our initiation, the day of initiation, the spiritual master.
Yeah, the day you get the book. I mean, the day you get the knowledge, transcendental knowledge. It may be much before your initiation day also. But that's the day when you get, and then, yeah, when you surrender to Krishna's representative, like that. That's the important days in your life, actually. So, otherwise, it's all nothing worth it. All other events, material events, have happened many, many times. Punascharvita charvananam. Same thing has happened again and again. We have died. We have done all these events. So in this way, we can focus when we become detached. When we can, Vyavasaitmika buddhi comes when you become detached from sense gratification. Bhogeshwarya prasaktanam taya prita chetasam. Vyavasaitmika buddhi samadho na vidyate. Krishna is saying, yeah, when you are attached to sense gratification and all the other priorities of life, then you cannot become fixed up in devotional service. And resolute, determined, because you have so many things in your mind, so many duties you have made for yourself. But the main duty is ultimately to go back home, back to Godhead, to become a lover of Krishna. So, and all the other duties hinder our main duty of focusing on Krishna. Actually, they should enhance, but it can become an hindrance also. So, so that is why we can't find time to chant Hare Krishna, because our job may be like that, right? Because we have a house, we have to pay the mortgage and so many things. So now you have to work very hard at job, and then you don't have time to chant 16 rounds. Right? So because we are thinking, yes, this is more important, and we expand our thing in the material world. I could live in an apartment, but I built a house. Now I have to pay more money to support that house, to maintain the house. And then, of course, unless you use the house in Krishna's service, or you have enough money, then you can. But yeah, like that, we expand in this material world, and then we say, well, I have to do this, I have to do that. Raj Bihari Prabhu had an article. He was saying, yes, you say I cannot come to temple because I have a birthday party to go to. But it's not like you choose not to come to the temple. It's not like somebody is not forcing you. But of course, modes of nature are forcing. But you choose like that. You choose that, okay, I give birthday party more importance over coming to the temple, or the football game is more important than. So like that, we actually give priority and to other things over Krishna, and that is the greatest barrier for self-realization, to give something else more priority, because we are more interested in other things than serving Krishna, and that's why we are distracted from. So we have to force our mind. Sometimes even the mind says, no, like we are chanting Hare Krishna, and mind says, no, now do something else. Then you say, no, I have to chant Hare Krishna, because this is the main thing. Mind, so you have to go against your mind. That's how you build the muscles of your mind. You do bodybuilding, you pick up weights, and it's troublesome. But you build your willpower and your determination by going against your mind, like Ekadashi. You fast. Say, go against your mind. The mind is saying that austerities, that's why required. You go against your mind. Mind is saying this, no, but I will not do what. I am not my mind. This is another thing. I am not the mind. My mind is saying all these things. I can observe the mind, and I don't have to do what the mind says. So it's easier said than done, but that's how. The sadhana bhakti means we are going against the mind. We may not have taste in chanting, we may not have taste in reading scriptures, but we force ourselves. Just like we force ourselves to study. When there is an exam, we force ourselves. even if it is not. So we have to force ourselves. Like many times people drink some very bitter drink, right? It's bitter, but they drink it because it's good for health. So you force yourself to take that bitter drink or something because it's good for your health. So knowing that this spiritual life, this is good for me, even though it's bitter, I should do it. And then it'll become sweet. But even if it's bitter, you do it. So to get the benefit like that. So surrender, who likes to be surrender? Nobody likes to surrender. Right? It means giving up your independence and taking guidance from somebody else like that. Surrender. Because we like to be independent. So, but knowing that it is good for me, then I will surrender to Krishna. Like that.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, bro.
So especially on the Janmashtami,
Yeah.
my experiences when I do a fasting, then if we engage into services, let's say preparation of Janmashtami, we are in the temple, then that become easier. Then mind is not focused on the hunger as compared to just we are sitting in the house and try to
Mm.
uh, go against our mind. Then that is a little more difficult as compared to diverting mind into any services. Then it becomes easier to uh, I mean observe that fast. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's the idea, to keep the mind so busy in Krishna's service that there is no time to think of sense gratification. That's how Prabhupada said. He said, what did he say? It's not that I'm not free, but I don't have the time to think about it. Right? He said about lust, something like
Yes.
that. Yeah, I don't have the time to think about it. So, so we keep ourselves busy. That's the temple life is like that. Very busy, one service after another. You keep busy so that there is no time to think about other things. And you are in association of the devotees who are busy in preaching, who are busy in studying scriptures, who are busy in, then you don't have time to worry about. So, yeah, if the mind is busy, that is actually the purpose of fasting, is to keep the mind busy. Upavas means you reside close to the Lord. Vas means residence, and upa means near. So somehow or other, yena kena prakarena, mana Krishna niveshayat. Somehow or other, we have to bring the mind to Krishna. Whatever we have to do, Prabhupada said like that. If going back home, back to Godhead is the ultimate goal of life, then you should do whatever it takes to achieve that goal. Means if I have to sacrifice something, I have to do this, I have to change this, that, whatever. Yes, I'm ready to change. So that's ultimately that kind of determination develops over a period of time, and it's, or maybe because in past life some people have already done it very strongly, so they are now ready. They come across Krishna consciousness and they just take it up so seriously. Okay, so next verse. What's the time? 8:23. Oh, it's 23. Well, anyway, finish this chapter. We'll read Brihad Bhagavatamrita later on. Yada na yogo pachita sucheto mayashu siddhasya visajjate anga ananya hetushva athame kati syad atyantiki yatra na mrityuha saha. When a perfect yogi's attention is no longer attracted to the byproducts of mystic powers, which are manifestations of external energies, progress towards me becomes unlimited, and thus the power of death cannot overcome him. So, in the process of yoga, one develops mystic siddhis, and one can become diverted by those mystic siddhis. But when the yogis becomes, like uninterested in this, like to Kolavech Sridhar, Mahaprabhu said, I will give you the 8 mystic perfections. And Kulavashridhar said, no, that will only be a distraction. Imagine 8 mystic perfections are very, very powerful, and you can go anywhere, you can get anything from anima, lagima, prapti, like that. You can know what others are thinking. So many yogis, they have this mystic siddhis. But the yogi or the devotee is not interested in that. The yogi who wants to become a devotee. Thus the power of the death cannot, his progress towards me, so he's not distracted by mystic powers. Is no longer attracted to the byproduct of mystic powers, which are manifestations of external energy. His progress towards me becomes unlimited, and thus the power of death cannot overcome him. So we are tempted by so many things, right? Mystic powers are big things, but even small, small things tempt us in this world. So when we can resist the temptation and say, we choose Krishna over all other temptations, by Krishna's grace only. Krishna only gives that intelligence. If we are sincere in heart, then we can progress back home, back to Godhead. Yogis are generally attracted to the byproducts of mystic yogic power, for they can become smaller than the smaller or greater than greatest, achieve anything they desire, have power even to create a planet or bring anyone they like under their subjection. So they can get so many followers. If you do all these miracles, you can get a huge following. Right? Somebody produce some ash, a huge following. So you can really have these mystic powers. That's why Lord Chaitanya says, I don't want followers. Yogis who have incomplete information of the result of devotional service are attracted by these powers. But these powers are material. They have nothing to do with spiritual progress, as other material powers are created by material energy. Mystic powers are also material. Prabhupada says scientists have achieved this siddhi. The plane can take 300 people in the air. The yogis can fly in the sky. So the scientists, by their science, they have achieved this. So in one village, one person came. He had gone to do yoga, and then after that he achieved the siddhi of walking on water. So everybody, all the villagers were very impressed. After such a long time he has come back and he has achieved the siddhi of walking on water. So they all came to see, and the person walked on water. Then one villager, an old man, he said, yes, so what is this? You spent so many years to achieve this siddhi? What did he say? But
I can take you past that to a boatman, and I can also cross the water through the boat.
Correct. What you are achieving by so many years, you have gone through so much tapasya and all this. I can pay a boatman and he can take me across. The result is the same. The result, like Tamal Krishna Maharaj was saying, yeah, somebody is producing ashes. I can light a fire and produce heaps of ashes. So what is the value of ashes? Ashes are ashes. He said like that in a very fiery lecture he was giving in Fiji. And God's competitor. What ashes are ashes. Ultimately you get it from your hand. It doesn't matter how you get it, but I can also get the same thing. So like that he was saying. But love of God, that's the real achievement. As other material powers are created by material energy, mystic yogic powers are also material. Perfect yogi's mind is not attracted by any material power, but simply attracted by unalloyed service to the Supreme Lord. And actually the devotee becomes a greater mystic yogi. Hiranyakashipu had mystic powers, but Prahlad didn't do any such tapasya like Hiranyakashipu. But still he was a more powerful yogi than Hiranyakashipu. And same with Durvasa Muni and Ambrish Maharaj. Ambrish Maharaj was more powerful. Although Durvasa Muni had mystic powers, he created a demon from a strand of his hair. And but Ambrish Maharaj didn't do anything. And he became greater mystic yogi than Durvasa Muni because of his dependence and surrender to the Lord. So one who surrenders to the Lord, they can do amazing things. Because Krishna's energy, like Prabhupada, they say, Prabhupada says, you've done a miracle. And why? Because Prabhupada surrendered devotee. So that is why he achieved so much. For a devotee, the process of merging into Brahman effulgence is considered to be hellish, and the yogic power or preliminary perfection of yogic power to be able to control the senses is automatically achieved. The devotee can automatically control his senses. Because his senses are not like broken fangs of a serpent. That verse is there, right?
केवलं नरकायते त्रिदश पुरकाश पुष्पायते दुर्दांतेन्द्रिय काल सर्प पतली प्रोत का दमस्त्रायते.
What is the next? Vishwam Purnam Sukhayate.
विधि महेन्द्रादिश्च घटायते यत् करुणं कटाक्षे भवतां तं गौरं एवस्तु.
So devotee gets everything. He is not bereft of anything else. As for elevation to higher planets, so sometimes you may think, well, a devotee does not have mystic power like yogis. Yeah, he may not exhibit or he may not have, but he is still in higher position because he is going back to Godhead. Whereas the mystic powers can't save you from the cycle of birth and death. As for elevation to higher planets, a devotee considers this to be simply hallucinatory. That is the same verse. A devotee's attention is concentrated only upon the eternal loving service of the Lord, and therefore the power of death has no influence over him. The sun fails. Ayurharati vaipumsa buddhyanashachayanacho. Tasyarthi yachano nita uttam shlokavartha. Even the sun fails to rob the life of a devotee. In such a devotional state, a perfect yogi can attain the status of immortal knowledge and bliss. So basically, just engage in devotional service to the Lord. Whole your life with all your time. Just engage in devotional service to the Lord. That should be our aspiration. Ahetukiya pratihata. Uninterrupted service I want to do. Without any motive. Without any cause. Just for the pleasure of Krishna. Then we'll be satisfied and fully happy. Yeah, Atma Suprasikati. Okay. Stop here. We may not be doing that, but we can have the aspiration. And one day I will do this. But better do it sooner than later, because one day we don't know one day will come or not. Life is temporary. Okay. Anything else you would like to say? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.